Can you share? I just am very fascinated by the supply chain that you had to kind of build yourself to build a tequila brand, especially with the way you mentioned it, with being so clean, I guess is a way to say it. So, how did you go about building those partnerships?
Yes, operations is not for the faint of heart. In the CPG world, I think that's probably the biggest shocker is just how complex it is. So, first, I actually did things a little bit backwards. Before I found a distillery, I actually found a master distiller. So, I knew I wanted a female master distiller to bring my vision to life. And so I had researched like all the women in the industry and found Anna Maria Romero Mania. So I found my master distiller actually first and got connected to her. I just found like different resources. I found a group of consultants in Mexico who were able to make an introduction. It's really just being really scrappy of like how to find people. But then I needed to find a distillery. So tequila to be 100% agave has to be made at appellation of origin. So within certain regions of Mexico. So I started researching distilleries. I actually was able to narrow that down. Think about here, it'd be like a co-packer. Uh, but I was able to narrow it down pretty quickly. There are not that many distilleries that produce all of the tequila. It, it seems like maybe there because let's say there's almost 2,000 tequila brands, maybe there be, similar amount of distilleries. But actually when I started this, there were like right under 200 distilleries. Now there are some more. Um, I narrowed it down. I didn't want a distillery that manufactured for many brands. I wanted one that would follow our own specifications instead of me buying bulk tequila. So I knew I could narrow it down that way. I wanted a distillery that would let me bring my own master distiller into their facility. So once I like narrowed that, and then I luckily found consultants down there who could start connecting me. And I was doing like little virtual walkthroughs of distilleries because it was during COVID and I couldn't get to Mexico, it kept closing down. So that's how I found kind of like the production piece of it. And then they had to source bottles and then figure out how to get trucks over the border and through customs and find warehousing. It's all figure outable. It just took a lot of due diligence.
In your bottles, I mean, every detail is so beautiful, by the way, with your product and the number of flavors that you have. Do you remember, could you share the story of your first customer that was not family or friend related? Do you kind of remember how that came to be?
You know, it's funny. I actually don't remember who it was. It was like, I feel like the whole beginning was very much of a whirlwind because we launched initially online. And online in spirits is not like a very huge piece of it. So, like, while we were launching online, we were trying to lay the groundwork for like getting into states and actually getting distribution in states. So, in like September 2021, we got our first production run in. We launched online. I know my first purchase, but it was actually my best friend. And I feel like that's who you always start out with are your friends. And it actually is still not lost on me. When I see people, and whose names online, every once in a while I'll go in and check. I'm like, oh, I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't know them. And like it's really exciting still. Or when people come up to me like, I've had your tequila somewhere. I'm like, really? Um, so I feel like I don't know if that ever gets old, to be honest. Like that people discover you and found you and you don't know them personally. So I don't remember the exact first person, but I do remember that every time like we'd see an order come through online. Now it's a little harder to tell because we're a little removed from the customer once you sell in retail. I don't know who the actual end purchaser is, which is why I do so many events and consumer facing events. And when people come up and like, yes, I had that, or recently I was at something like my friend gave me that as a gift. I'm like, really? Who is your friend?